Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another day of the CSL. My name is Reed Rapid Melton, and joining me as always tonight is my co-caster, Joshua Fekez Quest, and we've got some pretty amazing games slated for you guys here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. I'm really excited to see this. Robert Morris University Eagles going against the University of Chicago. And RMU, big name from last year, completely different roster. But they are still very powerful. They're a very strong roster. They're actually in the HTC Ascension tournament as well as CSL. So they're doing kind of pulling double time this whole week.
Right, and just to give you guys a little bit of an info about Robert Morris University, I sat down with their coach Marcus earlier today and got a little bit more info. So let's go ahead and let you guys know what's going on with RMU.
Hello, my name is Marcus. I go by Nazarene. In League Client right now, my username is snazarine. The S stands for Serpentis, who I was head coaching for a while beforehand during the summer, more so. But yeah, currently I would be considered our team's like strategic coach slash analyst for our main roster, alongside Ferris, who would be the basically the head coach of the starting side, and Espen is our coordinator currently. We have a couple other awesome assistant coaches like Carrasco, effusively, and Jason Greenglass, who I believe is known as Nocturnips, as well as Adam Farm. I don't know if he has a username, but um, yeah, I think I mentioned everyone. Let's check.
Right. So there's a lot of people that go into putting in work on the RMU esports program.
Of course, yeah, we do have a lot of players, so there are different coaches for the different teams. The team that will be playing in CSL tonight, usually Ryan takes over it. I'm filling in for him tonight, but I do play a pretty big part with our starting and sub roster, which you will see part of in the CSL match tonight. I do a lot of the strategic stuff for us, so pick ban, notes on scrims, rank 5s, anything like that. I help out with that. But recently, in terms of pick ban, we've had our players actually run a lot of it, so we'll talk it through with them and explain to them. Sorry about the sirens. We live right off the main street here.
It's all good.
But yeah, so we'll talk through like picks with them, etc. before the game. And for the most part, we trust them to go over their own picks. If they have any questions, they come to us with them. And the theory behind that is if they're running their own comps and talking about what they should do before every game, they understand what their role is within the team based on different comps and whatever champ they may be playing. So when you see them within their specific roles, like playing to that role or whatever their job is within the team setting, that's largely in part due to that and a lot of the game knowledge that they've now had. If you watch our main roster also in the HTC Ascension tourney, you'll notice that their game knowledge is also very impressive considering some of the starting roster now was subs last year, such as I believe West Coast and Pomi, and they've really stepped up and they've been outdoing their counterparts in the top and jungle in some of these matches here that they've been playing. So yeah.
Yeah, so I was looking at the RMU page on CSL, and you guys actually have like 5 teams signed up for CSL. It's something crazy, and I know RMU is a big sort of leader in the forefront of collegiate esports, but I didn't expect you guys to be that all in on CSL. So what's your CSL experience been like this season?
As for me, I haven't led as much CSL stuff. That would be Ryan effusively, and I believe they're undefeated so far. With that roster. So, but I have worked with them. The roster that is currently playing CSL, I've worked with them in practice. Not as much on game days, but yeah, throughout the week, we'll have different coaches rotating, and I'm actually very, very impressed with our current CSL roster, which includes, I believe, Pope, Cartoons, Nubsy would be the mid, and then the ADC is Mikey Mouse, and the support is Cyanotic. And they've been stepping up a lot for CSL matches and putting in work versus teams of equal or higher rank. So very impressed with them. And yeah, basically just watching them in practice and seeing them grow has been amazing. In terms of like itemization, macro strategy, because they mechanically as players, they all had their roles down pretty dang well, but they're picking up really well from anything that we try to teach them so far in the program.
All right, so you're coming into tonight's match undefeated so far in the season. What are you really expecting from your games tonight? Because I know that at least before now, or at least in previous CSL seasons, it's been interesting to sort of focus on RMU as at that point in time, the kind of the leader in collegiate esports. Is that where you guys still think you are now? And what are you looking at coming into tonight's games?
Yeah, well, obviously we go in hoping for the win in the series. Don't like to be too cocky about it. One thing we do try to stress is no matter the opponent, whether we're scrimming a high school team, collegiate team, an NACS team, we always look at them the same way. Each player, whether it's someone playing in high school star league or Faker himself, they're playing a certain champion, and that champion will always have its limitations. So that's what we'll play around, is the matchups in terms of compositions, and things of that nature, from lane to mid game to team fights. So yeah, hopefully going into here pulling out a win. RMU has been perennially since the start of the program known to be powerhouse because of the emphasis on the program as a varsity sport, and just how much respect I guess we've garnered in that regard.
All right, well, at least specifically for the roster that you're working with tonight, you mentioned being their strategic coach. I don't want to give you to give away too many super secrets or anything, but
Yeah.
what have you worked with for them in that regard to improve? And I guess what kind of improvements have you seen the team make over the course of how long you've been working with them?
In terms of when they first start out, and a lot of them in this roster were higher ranked, like mid to high diamond solo queue players. And so when they come into the program, obviously, like I said before, mechanically they're very solid, and we're waiting for them to develop as we go along. And since the season has started, I think a lot of the stuff that we've worked, or I specifically have worked with them on, that they've improved would be things like warding, control. Control is something really big that a lot of programs, I think, struggle to teach because first and foremost, they kind of need to find their identity. So after the team found its identity and each player realized what he had to do within his own role, control and discipline in terms of knowing what you can and can't do at certain phases of the game is a very important aspect to be teaching players, especially at the collegiate level. So that's, I think, something that they've vastly improved with. And, you'll get the plays here and there, of course, where someone will go off and make a solo queue play. Every team has that. And hopefully we don't see any of that tonight. But in general, the players have improved a lot in terms of discipline and control and knowing what they can do in their 5 setting and what their limitations are.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our interview tonight. Thanks a lot to Marcus for coming on, and best of luck to RMU in their games tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
man.
a lot for being on, and good luck. And welcome back. I do want to thank Marcus, coach of step-in coach for tonight's game for Robert Morris University. Of course, good luck to them and University of Chicago as we get ready for their game tonight. And we should be ready to get into that game here in just a second. You ready for some CSL League of Legends, Fekez?
Totally am. Very excited. That video even got me even more hyped. This is really exciting. See, I didn't know that there are actually multiple rosters. I mean, of course, I saw different teams in RMU, but there's at least 2 really good RMU teams out there. So this
as I actually learned, they have I think they have 5 League of Legends teams. Now, not all of those, at your tip of the top level of competitive professional collegiate play, but it's good to see that their esports program is drawing in a lot of interest, a lot of really good players, some of whom you'll see featured here tonight. So I'm really excited for this one. And it does look like we are getting ready to go. I think we have at least 10 players telling us, yes, we're ready to go. However, the game has not started yet, so that seems somewhat contradictory to me.
Yeah, someone's just got to engage under that start button, Nobody seems to do it. We will be soon. But yeah, going to be really interesting. So Chicago, I mean, they've been around CSL for quite a while. They're always been a good team. Of course, RMU, the big team that has a hype train behind them, and so there's a point. Every team in the CSL matters, but there is a sort amount of attention that, a certain amount of attention that gets put onto certain teams. RMU just happens to be one of them. So let's not count Chicago out. This actually is their time to shine because they're coming in here probably viewed as the underdogs.
That's right, and especially with RMU having done so well already, they come into this match undefeated. 3-0 in their group, so a really impressive scoreline to deal with.
Yeah, but we are into pick and ban phases now. So Yasuo, the first one banned out. That's by Chicago. Chicago is on the blue side. They're starting on the blue, and RMU over on the purple side. Evelyn banned out as well. So we're getting underway with these picks and bans. What do you expect to see out of this one?
Well, I'm going to expect to see a really big target on possibly the AD carry. Now, at least something to talk about tonight. Looks like I'm having some timeout issues, but we're good. A really big topic to talk about tonight is going to be the top lane. You can see, you're probably going to see quite a few carries banned out for that. Of course, Gangplank, no surprises there. And really, it shouldn't differ very much from many other ban phases, just because there are so many strong champions banned top lane. However, if you guys got a chance to catch the last RMU game, from what I heard, there's a pretty big performance up there, so that's what I'm going to be looking at. And of course, checking out the ban phase, we're seeing Yasuo Gangplank banned. Yasuo primarily because we've seen a dependence on a lot of collegiate teams to run Yasuo compositions. You just run, Malphite, Yasuo, maybe some Lulu action in there. And Lulu should be a highly contested pick here, but I've seen it go through several times, most notably last week, so I'm expecting to see that Lulu banned. If it isn't, it's going to be very, very high priority. So no Lulu bans here. We'll see if that goes all the way through the pick phase.
Yeah, and actually Rek'Sai is going to be the first one locked in by Mark Kirk over on Chicago. So not giving away anything. I mean, Rek'Sai, a pretty standard jungler. You either go Rek'Sai, Elise. I don't know, it's one of those two jungler. Gragas is even a big pick in the jungle still. Not giving away too much on just by first picking a jungler who's pretty standard in the meta right now.
Right, and I don't think you really give too much away from first picking really any jungler. Most of them fairly versatile. One that I would expect to see at least, maybe when it's re-enabled for competitive play is Gragas. Big fan of Gragas as a champion. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him for the latter half of Worlds, but expecting to see sort of a return to tanky junglers out there. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, we're gonna see what RMU decides to pick up first. They're showing Graves. That would be kind of a risky lock-in, but there's Gragas being hovered over. And Graves, so been hearing a lot about Graves on the PBE, but we're still on the 5.21 patch, which Graves, still the same Graves we've been seeing for quite a while. And it's going to be locked in. What do you think of that, considering how all the other ADCs besides Jinx are open right now?
Yeah, so for AD carries, we've seen a primary tendency between Jinx and Tristana. It's just been like hyper carry, and then build a composition around there. And there are a few very utility-based AD carries. You used to see a lot of Sivir, and even Ashe has become more popular due to her ability to long-range hard engage. But I don't know if we're going to see too much outside of that. I know Vayne just got a 3 attack damage nerf, and now all of a sudden nobody plays her anymore. So something tells me there's probably some room for her in the current meta, but it might not be just yet.
Yeah, and you said that Lulu went through. Speaking of Vayne, Lulu very good for protecting any of their ADCs on their side, of course. But yeah, Vayne, 3 AD nerf, not that big of a deal on Vayne, not at all. But Tristana, it is going to be locked in for Chicago's ADC. And yeah, you're right. We've been seeing a lot of Jinx, a lot of Tristana these series. There's been a huge reoccurring trend in the CSL. Big wombo combos, and then, yeah, have Jinx or Tristana for the mid to late game tower pushing potential that they have. But with Jinx banned out, only Tristana up, and that is taken by Chicago, with the Janna pick next to him, going to be protecting the ADC at all costs. And that's actually a decent pickup into Gragas. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so the Gragas pick was what I was talking about a little bit earlier on. It was like, hey, Gragas super strong, big tank in the jungle, and with Elise banned, definitely high on the tier list underneath that. Also, the Evelynn ban, a little bit interesting. Don't really see her as being quite as high, but the Gragas pick will do very well into Tristana. Tristana hyper carry, tons of damage, but one way to deplete that damage is to have percentage damage reduction, which Gragas has from Happy Hour, so it's going to be exciting to see how well that works. Drunken Rage, rather. Happy Hour's the passive. But yeah, Gragas, good into that. And what's better versus hyper carries than other hyper carries? So there's a Ryze locked into the top lane.
Yeah, Ryze. And we've been seeing a lot of Ryze only from Faker, as far as I'm concerned.
Seen a lot of like Faker-ish people out there.
Oh yeah. Solo queue's been a nightmare, and for different reasons. We'll get to that another time. I'm sure solo queue can pop up in any situation. But we've also been seeing a lot of Kassadins come out, and Kassadins that have been building a Lichbane first, I believe, are actually going kind of a bruiser Kassadin. I've been spectating some high elo solo queue, and I've been seeing some interesting Kassadin builds, kind of harking back to when he was back in the meta, but Worlds kind of changed everything, and that's why we see Ryze out right now as well. But Victor being hovered over, that's not too bad of a pick if that Ryze does go mid.
Yeah, and highly confusing to me to see Lulu not picked here. It might still be picked for a mid lane because we haven't seen either team lock in mid laners, which is why I would expect to see this Ryze go top lane. And this is what would be so confusing. So there's a Renekton lock in. The reason Ryze top lane was so popularized initially is because of how well it dealt with immobile bruisers. Now Renekton is a pretty mobile bruiser, but Ryze still deals with him very, very well because what Renekton is going to do is dash in on you, deal his damage, and then try to run away. But when he dashes in, he leaves the minion line, so your skill shot overloads can actually hit him without any problem. You just ult yourself and power him on through. And Ryze damage, I don't think there's anything in the game that can deal with that persistent over time. But so I'm thinking that's a good matchup for RMU already, and with a Veigar lock in and nothing really to get through the Veigar wall, the event horizon, nothing like an Olaf or a Morgana Black Shield, something along those lines. It's going to be a pretty big wall of protection between the box and event horizon to put in front of what is actually a very tanky lineup here for RMU.
Yeah, and that's actually a very good read from RMU too. Seeing that Lulu was not picked up, Lulu, one of the biggest counters to at least mid-game Veigar. Whenever you start one-shotting people, you can wild growth or shield anybody that he's going to throw the primordial burst on and deny him a kill, which is what Veigar is there for. If you don't get the kill with Veigar, you kind of waste your time and allows the enemy team to re-engage on you. But RMU, seeing there's no Lulu, might as well pick Veigar, and it also gives some fantastic wave clear and anti-turret siege if it gets to that point. Very nicely played by RMU.
And that's going to do it for our champion picks and bans. Now, barring things being swapped up into crazy, wacky spots, these should all be our champions, and I don't think anything's going to randomly change at the last second. So, pick that most surprised you, Fekez.
The Graves. I mean, there's so many other champions besides Graves that you could pick. And I'm assuming that's a comfort champion for Gillette, but yeah, could have easily picked up Tristana first. Yeah, again, could have went back on that utility ADC and picked up the Severe. So very surprised to see a Graves, but it's here. What about yours?
For me, I would go with either Graves or maybe the Ryze top lane. We've seen Ryze do very well, but in the wrong hands definitely does not have quite the same potential as other champions, especially with things like Renekton being more popular in the top lane. While Ryze would traditionally do very well into that, there's no champion that snowballs quite as hard early game as Renekton top lane. Like that's a sight for sore eyes. So we're going to see how that top lane goes. That's where I said I was going to put my focus, but there's a lot else to focus on as we get into this game. So let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with game number 1 of this best-of-3 series between RMU and the University of Chicago here in the Collegiate Star League's 2015 League of Legends season. Big thanks to our sponsors as well, Brain Gear, Twitch, and Alpha Draft for making this possible, so definitely go support them and thank them for supporting us. Stick around, we'll have game 1 coming your way here in just a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Collegiate Star League's 2015 League of Legends season. My name is Reed Rapid Melton. Joining me once again, as always, is Joshua Fekez Quest. How you doing, Fekez?
Pretty good. Really excited to be here. Excited to see this match. How about you, man?
Doing amazingly, because it's an adverb, and because I get to cast some League of Legends with you and all these other wonderful people watching. So thanks for tuning in to tonight's games. Tonight, RMU, and whoa, Mark Kirk, no!
Oh,
Gonna
Mark
face check
Kirk.
in the worst place.
Not even worth flashing. He flashed the hook landing by Sonotic. Very nice
Oh
hook.
my
First
gosh.
blood to Gillette.
That follow on the hook was ridiculous.
Oh,
man, right through the fog of war. It's just like, I think you flashed. Here. Went for it. Could have flashed over the wall to do the utmost and just make sure to secure the kill. But hey, when you got hooks like that, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, now so not only is that first blood, that is a flash over the wall from Mark Kirk, and that's on a Janna bot lane, so bot lane's already exposed for Chicago. They already have a weakness there, and it's already ahead for RMU as Gillette got that. The only person on their team that did not get an assist was Nubsies. I think he'll be all right, though.
He was slacking a little bit in the back.
Yeah.
He was kind of the same perspective that Mark Kirk had. It's like, oh, let's just go walk through this bush. You know, there's no way an enemy champion would be here. Turns out sometimes there is, and you always got to get a little bit prepared for that. So, did we see any recalls for additional items to buy? Yes, Gillette coming back with an extra longsword. Gonna add that 10 AD to his trade potential in lane.
Yeah, and I really like that on the Graves because of his. I mean, that's mostly what Graves is for, is his AD potential. He has great AD scaling on his abilities, and he's pretty much a caster AD with how much he combos his abilities. So very nicely played, very nice pickup by Gillette, and I'll get him an early lead in that lane.
Now, some interesting things to talk about for this start. Now, we have both teams going for double jungles. However, for RMU, their double jungle is actually in the enemy jungle. So really cool to see that. And just in case you wanted to see some horizontal jungling for University of Chicago, they actually won't be able to walk across to get the Gromp because it's been taken by the AD carries and supports. So really, really good start to the game. The blue buff being taken here, they're trading it back out. You want to let Rise tank as much of this as possible so that he doesn't, so that he recalls the base and teleports top lane, and your jungler is left at high HP. But oh, they're actually gonna, okay, I thought they were gonna give Rise the blue buff level 1. That would have been ridiculous, but no, just gonna get both jungler and top laner level 2. Get that early blue buff.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to give the top laner your blue buff, but a lot of damage going on to Mark Kirk. He does not have Flash. Pointed that out earlier and actually saw it if anyone was watching the first 5 seconds of this game. Gillette, he knows he can trade back. He has that longsword, and he has some extra health pots as well, so he's going to be able to sustain through this lane a lot better than Terratron.
Right, he actually spent a couple of auto attacks trading just breaking the Janna shield, which you don't really need to do. It's just something that, you know, if you have that extra AD, you can just go ahead and take it right down. Now, top lane, ooh, miss on the cannon minion there. I hate it when I'm like, hey, let's talk about this, and the only thing I see is the cannon minion not dying, or not dying by being lasted, and it's like, oh my gosh, the tilt. But to be fair, top lane is going to be the lane that I wanted to watch the most, just due to A, the snowball potential of Renekton if he gets ahead early, or B, the hyper carry potential of Rise if he isn't pressured enough in lane. So that's going to be super exciting to watch. And one of the things that's going to be so interesting as we watch freaking Pope actually hand off his second blue buff, which is actually the first to Nubsy in the mid lane.
What a generous, what a good guy jungler. Given his, yeah, that's kind of what you want to do to.
Yeah, you don't want to give the blue buff away though.
Oh,
Nubsy
yeah.
down to about 200 HP. He needs to be careful.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he still has Flash. He's still all right. So you were talking about that top lane, and this is going to be so. Hates me. He's shoving up pretty hard already. And Nevix, I'm surprised I didn't see him go into that top lane. Hold on, we have a nice hook
oh
on
my
the
God.
top lane. Exhaust goes down on Gillette, flaying out the rocket jump. There's a flash from both ADCs. Gillette picking up the kill in the end, though.
Surprised Gillette actually had to use Flash there. That should have been a relatively free kill, especially with the flay out of the air off the rocket jump. That's the outplay that you want to go for. And really great job there by Sonotic to be able to make that happen. Nice stun there by wee baby Sheamus. There's Franken Pope coming in. Just force the flash.
Yeah, I got the flash out of the wee baby Sheamus.
That's not just collegiate esports, man. We're starting them young. Want to get wee baby Sheamus. Wow, look at that trade potential by Lamau X. Hey, it's me, Lamau XD.
I'll probably just say, hey, it's me. Yeah.
But it rhymes the other way.
It does.
Plus numbers of times I get to say Lamau in a cast are drastically too low.
All right, I'll attempt it.
So we gotta fix that. But a recall the base for an early tier of the goddess here. Now, one of the things you've seen Rise as start with, due to the most recent balance changes, they actually scale a lot harder off of ability power, and especially versus aggressive matches like Renekton. A lot of times you'll want to go with a Doran's ring to start to have some extra mana coming back from last-hitting creeps. I didn't go with that. Went for the early Sapphire Crystal to build into a tier of the goddess. So just going to go for the sustain route instead of the overall raw stats route. Because a lot of Rises in this situation would play it defensively, given that Renekton's early game is so strong. Bottom lane, we got a little bit of an all-in there by Gillette, trading out against Terratron.
Yeah, Gillette is not playing defensively. He knows he doesn't have to. But actually, Gillette lost that trade. The hook barely missing from Synotic. So nice trade by Terratron, trying to get himself back into this bot lane game.
Well, to be fair, if the hook had landed, they would have either crushed the lane matchup or just made a really, really favorable trade. So that missing, a little bit unfortunate. Whoa, one auto off!
Not enough damage on that Primordial Burst just yet. He has 2 Doran's Rings and an Amplifying Tome. He was trying his best to get as much AP as possible. But freaking Pope coming to the bot lane. Terratron, he's going to rocket jump out of a hook. So that's going to cause freaking Pope just to make his way over to the Rift Scuttler, pick up some vision on this dragon.
Teleport back to mid lane. Wee Baby Seamus coming in, doing a good job not to die to that first Primordial Burst, which can be really difficult to do just given how early it comes. Maybe you haven't had a chance to go back to base or heal yourself up, any of those things. But now coming bottom lane, Nubsy and Franken Pope. They're on their way.
Nubsy, he has the Event Horizon, caught Terratron in his rocket jump.
Oh my god.
Terratron is now a Deathtron, killing spree for Gillette, and that's RMU going to get the dragon.
Wow. Really great hooks this game from Synotic. Beautiful stuns there. And yeah, you can't jump over the Veigar stun anymore. Previous incarnations, you could actually get out of it that way, but whoa, the flash, the dash!
Flash and a dash, you're right, for sure. But Blackstar, he's going to get damage put back onto him from, hey, it's me, Lamo XD. Did it for you. And both flashes down in the top lane, but it's like, it's me, LMAO. It's going to be all right for now. First dragon does go over to RMU. No chance of a steal from Nevix. Would have given his life over for that one, but first dragon this early in the game, not a huge deal.
I'm a little bit confused why the Rise didn't continue that trade versus Blackstar. He had the damage to make it happen, so just kind of interesting to see how that worked out. Because at least to me, when you're playing Rise versus Renekton, you know that the Renekton's got an all-in window, so he's gonna go in and deal as much damage to you as possible. Whoa, stun's gonna land. No stun from Nubsy. There's the
Nubsy has to flash out. Huge ultimate coming out from the Wee Baby Seamus, getting him shoving Nubsy back, and Nubsy getting a little overzealous there. In the top lane, though, notice that Blackstar actually still has his Dominus. I think that's why, hey, it's me, Lamo, kind of halted his aggression. He didn't want Dominus being popped and turned back around on him.
See, I always said Lamau, but in
Lamau,
continuing with us both pronouncing things completely differently. Whoa! Baiting in the bush, does have that Dominus, but oh man, we're going to see the Rise damage.
That's the thing, though. You can't fight. You cannot fight Renekton up close like that. If you Rune Prison, take a step back. But now, in the bot lane, freaking Pope. Nice flash body slam. Don't think he needs another
god!
Another flay of the rocket jump. Terratron going to go down. Collateral damage picking up that kill. Here comes the teleport. It is canceled, though. Man, these flays, these hooks, Synotic doing a fantastic job.
Too good, man. I just can't say enough good things about Synotic. He's hit 2 or 3 flays out of rocket jumps, multiple grabs out of rocket jumps. Just beautiful way to play Thresh versus Tristana. Just incredibly impressive. So now catching another Victor stun.
Nice Event Horizon coming out. Actually, he did not use a Primordial Burst, and maybe it'll get the kill there. He actually half health him with the Dark Matter and the Q from Veigar, but
now a gank coming in.
Nevix is there. He flashed knockup. There's Wee Baby Seamus gonna pick up the kill. Actually, Nevix gets that one. Assist going over to the Wee Baby Seamus. Nice gank by Nevix. Looks like he's gonna try to find more. Doesn't need vision. Has a sonar. He's just gonna back off now.
Is it sonar with sound?
Yeah.
Doesn't Rek'Sai feel the vibrations in the ground because she's tunneling?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I didn't know if it was. I guess it was a seismic. What is that? What is that? There is a term for that. Seismic something, right? Ah, geology's failing me.
Yeah, I was gonna say my geology teacher not impressed with me right now, but oh man,
see, he might go down here. Actually gets the Primordial Burst onto Wee Baby Seamus, but not enough to kill him. Wee Baby Seamus picking up that one. Cyanotic with the Ignite going down.
And
pick up that kill.
Cyanotic coming in, making that worth, getting a kill and an assist. So turning that around, but that's what I like to call the buy and die for Nubsy, where you go back to base, buy up your items, you're like, all right, let's do this. Teleport into lane and die instantly, either from getting ganked or from just teleporting into like traps or dangerous situations. Not good to see, and that puts Nubsy a little bit further behind.
Yeah, Nubsy, I mean, he's not too impressive on the Vigard this early on. He's actually 20 CS down. My goodness, Terratron, he's gonna get just chucked down.
Oh my goodness.
Backlines, and that was a Yumu's Ghost Blade being popped by Gillette. First item, Yumu's Ghost Blade. What is that about?
Yeah, he picked that up at around about 7 to 8 minutes into the game. Like, that's a ridiculously early item. And I like that choice, because when you get fed early, Yomu's Ghost Blade is way more effective than buying anything like, a Last Whisper or even just straight AD, because of how low most champions' base armor is. You get 20 flat armor penetration from Yomu's. Really, really good item to see built out there. But now top lane, Lamau XD actually might be in a little bit of trouble. Blackstar doesn't want to dive while he's in his empowered form, but or does he?
Anyways, there's freaking Pope in the top lane as well, throwing his explosive cast, getting Blackstar out of there.
Death Sentence bottom.
Yeah, Death Sentence onto Mark Kirk. He's gonna be knocked back with the Buster Shot. Terratron gonna hop out of harm's way. Gillette not going to choose to go in aggressively.
Now, to be fair, Graves did not have his ultimate available here, but with Wee Baby Seamus coming down to the bottom lane.
Seamus, take the lantern, he gets
the
Express out. Very nice by the bot lane of RMU, but it's not over. Cyanotic going to keep Nevix out of the way, out of Gillette's face as well.
Man, Cyanotic like clocked in for a 10-hour shift today. He is on the job, getting that overtime. He is saving that money, to use a little D reference. But now that we're back and heading back to base, look at what Gillette's buying now. He built a pickaxe. I'm curious as to why the dagger's there. If you're just going to go straight AD, you might as well just go straight AD. But want some extra attack speed there. Just mixing it up, getting a little bit of everything.
Yeah, he didn't really sit on that. He had the Avarice Blade. I actually noticed he had the Avarice Blade. I thought he was just getting it for the extra gold, but he did not sit on that at all. Like you said, getting that Yumu's Ghost Blade around 7 minutes. And yeah, I guess I don't really know where his build's going. I think he wants more movement speed, possibly going to be building the Berserker Greaves to get around the map. He's not really worrying too much about bot lane, possibly, at this point. He's almost 40 CS up on Terratron and 5 kills up, of course. He's definitely got the momentum. Even as an ADC, especially Graves, you can roam. Collateral damage does a lot of damage and from far away. But in this top lane, Blackstar 777, he's doing quite a bit of damage as well.
Oh, but look at the Rise. Wait. Okay, yeah, Rise knew something was up when he go in like that. Has that Tri-Brush warded. He was like, wait a second. Where's mid lane? And he shows on the ward. It's like, oh, yeah, probably shouldn't fight that. But to be fair, good job turning around that damage.
Yeah, collateral damage onto Terratron. The heal going to save him out, though. So Gillette doesn't have any summoner spells to flash in and get that kill. And Nevex, he's focusing the bot lane, but Blackstar once again going in the top lane. Dominus is popped. Ace Milamo gonna Rune Prism Flash out of harm's way, and he's having a tough time in that top lane right now.
Really not judging his ranges correctly. He's been missing overloads. He's even not known the duration of his stun. Usually, if you've played Rise a lot, you can tell based on your rank how long it's gonna last. But mid lane, Nubsy in a little bit of trouble.
Oh yeah, trouble and destroyed. Baby Seamus able to take that one out with his Death Ray. First kill of the game, despite how many it looks like he's been in these fights. But now Gillette coming in trying to take out Nevix. Very nice hook from Sonatic to set this up. Nevix is going to go down, gets smited, actually tries to go back in, but fails. Freaking Pope is actually going to pick up that kill. And now there's the explosive cast, but it only knocks away Wee Baby Seamus. He flashed out to get to that point where you can get blasted away.
Right, good flash there by Wee Baby Seamus. He realized that the enemy team was investing a lot to kill him, so good job to blow the flash there instead of dying. He gets out alive, but not quite so lucky for Nubsy, who is not having a very good game. He's down about 20 CS, and it's just not going his way. at this point. Now, he does find a safe lane to farm. With top turret going down because of the rotation down to mid lane, Chicago's actually in a decent spot. They've decided to end their top lane, and now they can go ahead. Oh, man.
Yeah, and there's, a nice gravity bomb, gravity field, I should say, from Wee Baby Seamus, stopping the aggression from Hey, It's Me Lamo. XD, not going to get any more damage onto him. He's going to get the blue buff, or is he going to take the blue buff again? Yeah, he's going to refresh his blue buff. It was just a little under, or a little over, I should say, halfway done. Surprised he didn't give that off to Nevix, but I guess Wee Baby Seamus can enjoy it a little bit longer. But going into this mid game, we're actually getting about 20 minutes. So RMU took the second dragon. Where do you see this game going so far with these lanes going the way they are?
Yeah, that's 2 dragons, keep in mind, by 15 minutes. That's a little bit ahead of schedules. You go games without seeing the first dragon taken by 15 minutes. So this is really, really concerning, because not only is RMU ahead on the objective score, and these are objectives that, spawn every so often. They're not like turrets where you can say, hey, let's make up turrets by just like killing 3 at once. No, you have to kill 1 dragon at a time, so it's going to take a long time for Chicago to maybe come back from that. Now, what they can do is take turrets, and they have done that. They do have that turret advantage 2-1, but now they need to figure out something to do with that. How do they make that happen? Mid lane, there's a gank.
Yeah, there's a gank. Hey, It's Me Lamo, gonna go down, get chunked pretty hard, but he's gonna survive. Nice on him so far. I don't even think he hit a level to get the extra stats from the Catalyst, the Protector, but a lot of damage put onto him, a lot of resources used as well. Flash from Nevix down. This mid-siege, see what they can eat. Oh, actually, each team going to try to defend and siege at the same time here.
Now, Cyanotic will land a death sentence over the wall. He's going to pull him in with the lantern.
Oh my gosh, Frankenpoke going in, but he's going to slice and dice out. Can he get away completely? Yeah, the explosive cask is down.
Kidding me? Wow, that was impressive escape there by Blackstar. Turns out that being able to cover like 700 range and use your flash. He didn't even use his flash. Blackstar still got that one up.
Yeah, he said he knows exactly what he's doing with this Renekton, which is surprising because Renekton hasn't been in the meta for that long. But if he's going to walk into freaking Pope and just, again, slice and dice out. So no harm, no foul there, I guess.
This should be a kill on the top lane turret, though, with 3 champions and a minion wave pushing in. Sounds like a sitcom. Three champions and a minion.
Dominus pop, though. Blackstar, he's going to try to hold this turret, but I think it's going to be in vain. Gillette picking up that kill. Not with Vayne, with Graves, and now, yeah, the turret is going to go down.
Yeah, there we go. Exciting to see big dives like that executed correctly. Always kind of makes me Lamau XD when I see 5 champions walk under the turret, 3 of them die, and there's like, well, wait, what happened there? But well executed there, and turret taken down at the same time. Whoa, Mark Kirk might be in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, a little bit of damage going on to him. Not enough though. And hey, LMAO XD, just gonna try to defend that bot lane turret, and. Yeah, we all make mistakes on tower dives, but, I've come to learn in the past 9 days, they're not really mistakes, Rapid. They're happy little accidents.
It's true. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, thank you, Bob.
What a day to be alive. But you're gonna have to wait 24 hours for that. We don't have to wait at all for more League of Legends actions here at CSL. It's gonna be a good night for that. And for RMU, it's been a good night. You gotta take a look at that bottom lane, which just got crushed out of oblivion, into oblivion, I guess I should say. It's into it and then out of it again, and then back in. 6-0 for Graves, who is 59. Let's get it right there. 59 CS up on his lane opponent. Has Infinity Edge Yomu's Ghostblade versus a champion that hasn't completed an Infinity Edge yet.
Man, that is pretty intense to go against. So when you're in this position, what do you do when you're Chicago? You have a mid lane not doing so bad. Your top lane's doing pretty well as well. Also, I should say, jungler also doing well. The big weakness, the bot lane. What do you do from here? Laning phase ending. Dragon's going to be up.
Pretty much the same thing that Nubsy did when he was so far behind in his lane. He actually sat top lane for a little bit, and top lane is actually where we're going to see a little bit of action. Here is Gillette trying to kite out against Blackstar.
Oh, Blackstar, I think, is actually not wanting any part of that. He popped his Yumu's, and yeah, Blackstar, he got out of there. But Wee Baby Seamus, he's caught. Primordial Burst is not going to be enough. The
my God.
Was burned, though. You see that counts for anything in this upcoming team fight.
Yeah, you can see how effective it was to put that much focus on Nubsy in the mid lane. Him losing that matchup not only means that he dies more, it means that everybody on the other team dies less from that huge ultimate from Veigar. And that Negatron cloak picked up by Wee Baby Seamus' Victor perfect itemization, gonna keep him alive a whole lot longer. Even though Abyssal, not necessarily the first item you want to rush on a champion that wants cooldown reduction. But for Sheamus, he actually got it from his boots instead. Only thing he's a little bit low on is mana regen.
Yeah, we'll see if he can overcome that right now. You have to be in the team fight to be able to really take advantage of mana regen, and so far he's been bursted out every time by the primordial burst, but not dead, and that's what really counts, because like you said, it's whenever you put down a Vigar, keep his damage potential down, but you keep everyone's living potential up, and that's exactly what you want whenever you're against a Vigar. So Dragon being focused around, at least trying to establish vision control from RMU right now. This will be the third Dragon, and they are stacking their way up pretty quickly to those fifth Dragon. Chicago has to be careful. Pressure coming in on the mid lane, trying to counter it. Hook barely missing from Cynotic.
Nice gravity field there, but
yeah.
Here comes in Halo Mao. He's going to go in. There's Gillette coming in as well.
Oh, man, Gillette, he's not going to be able to pop his... He popped his Yumas, but not popping his collateral damage just yet. Now going to turn back onto Terror.
Oh, my God.
Just deletes him off the field. And now Blackstar, he's in an Event Horizon. You don't escape from Event Horizons. They're black holes. And Nubsy's going to send him to a black hole. And now Gillette, maybe fighting off a little bit more than he can shoot, does get the kill onto the support. But,
Are you kidding me?
Alive? No, he's just barely going to die. Wee Baby Sheamus shutting him down, but it is a double kill in the end for Gillette, who went legendary right before he died. So
I'm not sure what's more impressive, watching Gillette make these crazy plays or watching Cynotic save him from himself.
And that's just entertaining duo.
Essentially what we've been watching all game long is Gillette just going like all out aggression all the time, and Cynotic just figuring out these ways to either make his aggression pay off or to save him when it doesn't pay off and he needs to get out of dodge. And this Dragon coming up will be the third Dragon in a row for RMU, just crushing that bottom lane so good. Cynotic been involved in 9 out of 10 of those bot lane kills.
Yeah, and let's actually focus on freaking Pope too. He's 106. He's had a hand in a little over 50% of these kills, doing very well for himself. I don't even think he's helped the bot lane very much. I can't remember when I think he might have helped mid another once, because it hasn't mattered. Gillette and Cynotic have been taking care of themselves. So freaking Pope been making sure the rest of his lanes have been keeping up the pace as well. Of course, Nubsy's he's been falling behind a little bit, but like he went up to that top lane, farmed a little bit more.
Right.
And he's getting himself back in here.
And it can't be understated. As far ahead as Gillette's Graves is, and as ridiculously strong as that looks, look at the other two lanes. They're actually both very far behind. For Veigar mid lane, even though he's caught up in CS, a lot of that CS did not go to his Q farm, his Baleful Strike. And if you look at that, it's up at 147 at 22 minutes. If he had a really good lane phase, he'd be up around like 180 by now. So close, but like we said, just set a little bit further behind. The other lane is top lane, which just got destroyed. A 70 CS advantage for Blackstar 777. So we'll see how effective that is. Now we look for him getting ganked.
Everything missing from RMU except for Cynotic's hook, of course. That one gonna be picking up a kill for. Hey, it's me, Lamo XD.
I can't get enough of these thresh hooks. They're perfectly placed every single time. Like you're trying to slice, trying to dice away. He knows exactly when he needs to throw out the hook. Perfect angles at it. Not sure what Gillette's doing. Needs to get out from that gravity well, but Baby Sheamus, misses the laser.
If he would have hit that death ray, that would have been death for Gillette. He has no summoners, that means no heal, and Wee Baby Sheamus still has his Chaos Storm up as well. There would have been a lot of burst coming down onto him, but with so much focus on the top lane trying to repel Gillette, it means bot lane is exposed, and that's the inner bot lane turret going down. So RMU gets an inner turret no matter what, and they're going to shove in onto this inhibitor bot lane turret. Teleport coming in from behind. Blackstar looking to get something here. Nivix, he's trying to pick up something as well. There's Blackstar, runs himself into the box rather, from Cynotic, and that's a complete disengage from RMU. Very well played.
Yeah, well, the bigger disengage that was impressive for me to watch is Chicago, who walk up, start that fight. They blow big ultimates like, the box out from Cynotic. Ryze ult down, freaking Pope's ult was down from earlier, so good to see them recognizing, hey, we don't want to get turned on, backing off into their base. But the biggest thing to talk about is the amount of gold. You've got 11, or almost 1,100 gold on Ryze. You got 1,300 on the mid lane Veigar, who's about to complete probably a Zonya's Hourglass, I'd imagine. But it's going to be a little bit ridiculous. Might go for death cap, who knows? But it's going to be a little bit ridiculous to see this RMU team once they get back from base from buying.
It is one of those things when you're Veigar and you're not blowing somebody up with your ultimate. It's at this point, you know, in my naive League of Legends knowledge, I just buy as much AP as possible and tell myself, this is going to happen. I'm going to blow somebody up. So we'll see what he picks up. He actually picks up a Blasphemon, so it looks like he is going to go for the Rabadon's Death Cap and look to blow somebody up. He's not having too much trouble staying alive now, especially with the team gathering as 5 and creating a nice front line. It's not so much target from Nevex or Blackstar just yet. So it allows him to build a little bit more offensive. And now, kind of at a standstill once again. Hasn't been too many, but we are right now. Wards being cleared out by RMU around the Baron Pit. And it's at this point, like, again, I asked you earlier specifically what you do to try to come back into this. Terratron hasn't been able to go back and farm. So now, do you have to give up Baron? Do you give up a turret, like, or do you just siege under it, or try to defend underneath a turret? What do you do whenever you're Chicago in this kind of situation? 14-4 in kills.
You better be able to 1v1 this Graves. Blackstar.
You can't with those crits. My goodness, Dominus pop, but it doesn't even matter.
Jeez.
Right.
Okay, that's a little bit excessive damage. Now 11-1-1. Okay, that's a little bit impressive. Coming up on 11/11, the date here pretty soon. So just about a week, we'll have more ones in our dates, just as many as are in that score.
If I recall, we have a date next year, November 5th.
Oh, that's true. I was tweeting at you about that earlier on.
I don't know if you were drinking, but I wasn't. I'm sober. Here we go. We're having it. But the hook missing from Cynotic into the mid lane.
Oh my gosh! I thought they were gonna go in on that for a big hard dive, but not quite what they're looking for. But here goes Halo Mao XD, want to go underneath the turret, has the damage, but
can't do it with that Death Star laser though.
Probably would have needed to pick up something other than a needlessly large rod after that. And wait a second, I thought okay, well, top lane Blackstar wants it again. Gillette too fast.
That crit was huge, and now Gillette gonna flash, gonna get fancy. One last crit would not be able to do it. He's going to quick draw over to Wee Baby Seamus, but get locked down.
Wait, what? No, what?
No.
No, okay.
Blackstar able to give the kill over to Wee Baby Seamus, and now Cynotic is caught. He's knocked up. He's knocked up again. He flashes
oh my gosh!
He's survived. He is good to go.
This guy's got 1,000,000 outs. What does it take to kill this Thresh? I was looking, and he like throws down the lantern right as he's getting knocked up to block just a little bit more of that damage. And he's just at every second of the game predicting what's about to happen to him next. Still had that flash up, and wow, Cynotic just so impressive. You know what's not impressive?
Oh, is he gonna get the Primordial first? He has it. Who's he gonna use it on? You're cornered. You gotta use it on somebody, Nubsies rather. Then Horizon goes down. He's going to use it onto Blackstar.
Oh
777. Turn him into a Blackstar. Quite literally. Nevix, he's on the run now. Nubsy lands the Dark Matter. Event Horizon not going to last.
Wow. Like I said, you know what's not impressive is a Graze that runs all the way under turret right into the waiting arms of Renekton and Victor. So gonna look for some maybe better plays and positioning from Gillette. He's going a little bit too ham now. Probably better to dial it back a little bit. You've carried, all right. You're super fed, all right. Just play it safe from here on out. It's probably the best way to go, man. This guy's sitting on 3.5 items and over 100, almost 100 CS over his lane opponent, Terratron's Tristana. There we go.
Got it? There you go.
Oh, man. I didn't know we were doing tongue twisters today.
You never really know what you're
I would have brought my other tongue for that.
Lucky lady. Anyway. Oh my gosh, so 4th dragon of the game going over to RMU. They've denied Chicago every dragon. It's only a matter of time before they get the 5th dragon, and they want to actually look toward this Baron as well. They have Chicago shoved back into their base pretty successfully right now. The only outer lane turret up is the mid lane. It looks like they want to try to siege that a little bit more while freaking Pope go clear some wards around Baron. He's actually not even going to pick up the Rift Scuttler either. He's just going to go into this mid lane, telling me he wants to try to engage here with an explosive cask. See if he can land one here.
And if he does, Gillette has tons of damage. Doesn't have any armor penetration, any Last Whisper. Does have the Youmu's, but so without Last Whisper, he's not going to do a ton of damage to this Rek'Sai, who should be their primary tank up at the front lines. But if you're doing tanking, it's there. Oh, there's the grab.
Hook into the Event Horizon onto Nevix. He gets out. Actually, no, he doesn't. He goes in, tries to knock people up, but Nubsy does pick him up. Teleport on the backline from Blackstar. More like a flank than a backline, really. But Gillette still alive, and that's who you need to kill. Mark Kirk flashing out of harm's way, and that would be the Event Horizon. Like I said, you don't want to get stuck in the middle of a black hole like Blackstar just did. Hook after the Event Horizon onto him. He's going to go down. Gillette picking that up with collateral damage. There's a kill return. First kill of the game going over to Terratron. Finally picking one up, but might be too little too late here.
I was going to say, finally worth money, and apologies there for some very odd camera control. Not sure what was up with that, but now that we're back and actually got to watch the last part of that fight, Terratron has a lot going for him. He's about to pick up Static Shiv, so that's going to help a little bit with those crits coming out. Crits are overvalued, so you get more gold value out of crits than you would out of just buying items, so maybe that's going to make him a little bit more effective. Another thing that's going to make him more effective with those crits is Zeke's Harbinger, whose name I have conceded is called Zeke's, just so nobody will flame me for being right about calling it Zeke's, but
I win. Finally.
Either way, it's 50% crit chance. And that's just going to make Tristana a monster, even though she's pretty far behind. And there's the completion of that Static Shiv, looking for a Last Whisper coming out next, or maybe a Bloodthirster, one of those two. But hard to compare to Gillette's 4.5 items, if you want to count Boots as half an item.
Oh, might as well.
Absolutely ridiculous there. You can't count Boots as a whole item because you could sell Boots for an actual item, but it does count still as one of your item slots because you do need the ability. Mostly impactful for home guards, but Gillette's actually bought the Führer enchantment, so I'm not sure if that's really great on Graves. I mean, it's good for chasing. I guess it does work well with Youmu's Ghost Blade, but traditionally on AD carries you want something like Alacrity to just move more quickly, reposition in team fights. Because a lot of Graves damage is going to come off of his spells, which aren't going to proc it very much. Whoa, Mark Kirk, no!
Yeah, speaking of spells, Mark Kirk got caught in that black hole. Event Horizon getting him locked down. And Primordial Burst is down now, but I mean, you don't really need it, I suppose, at this point in the game when you have Gillette just rampaging all over everybody. And this is a nice split push coming out from, hey, it's me, LMAO. Split push bot lane, has a teleport up, so can teleport into this Baron fight if he needs to. Nice Event Horizon onto Nevix, gonna keep him locked down. Another hook landing onto him as well. Gillette's just gonna turn and kill him. No Baron steal coming out from Chicago this time around, and they get a clean Baron.
And that's that. Teleport canceled there by, hey, it's me, MauXD. Not sure why it was channeled ever in the first place. It's not like there's any world in which you'll need the Rise in that fight. Better to just stay bottom lane, continue to push that wave in. And, oh, by the way, you're going to have Baron buff when you do it. So, oh, man, let's see if Blackstar has got what it takes for this 1v1.
I think he does with his Baron buff, and he's going to be able to room prison him into oblivion right now. He has quite a bit of power behind him. He also has his Archangel Staff. He's just going to just delay this one out a little bit more, lock him down once more. He's going to Blackstar rather, going to flash over the wall into safety. And hey, it's me, LMAO, not even going to worry about it. Just going to go press onto the turret, say, all right, mission accomplished, go back to my business. Mid lane inhibitor going down. It's falling pretty fast with these empowered minions.
Pretty impressive to see. However, if Graves dies again, that's 13 kills taken off the board. So if you all in on killing the Graves, that's a pretty good, it's going to set yourself in a good position, even if you have to sacrifice some stuff. But grab there on a Nevix, looking for the lockup.
Grab, and he gets blown up. The Primordial Burst was back up from the last time he was hey, it's me, Lamo, taking up his top lane counterpart this time around. And this may be RMU just finishing the game, although Wee Baby Seamus is there. Death Ray does clear, but with these empowered minions, it might not clear as much as he wants to, but health bar is low on the side of RMU. They're just going to back off a little bit, play it safe, and come back stronger the next run. Oh my god. Oh, never mind. You know what, Gillette, he's going to catch somebody in the Event Horizon and pick him off and kill him. Nubsy's very nicely placed. My goodness, now this might be the end of it.
Yeah, pushing in with a pick like that, you definitely have potential to end this game. And with one Nexus turret falling, 3 dead for Chicago. The flash in for... Okay. You're impressive all game long, and that's the way you want to end. I don't know about that choice, but the Nexus is going to fall regardless. Well. There's Nubsy going unstoppable. Yeah. What a game. RMU, congratulations for their 24-6 victory over University of Chicago, but we're not done yet. We've still got a best of 3, so at least one more game coming your way. And that means that we're going to head to a quick commercial break, so don't go anywhere. Before we do, big shout out once again to our sponsors. We're going to have to give them all their love for supporting us. You see them on your screen right there, Brain Gear, Twitch, and Alpha Draft. Definitely a big thanks to them for making this season possible. So go check them out while we're doing our quick commercial break. We'll come back with game number 2, Robert Morris University versus the University of Chicago. And just like that, we're back and ready for game number 2 of Robert Morris University versus the University of Chicago. Coming your way once again here now into picks and bans for game number 2. And that means that we're going to swap sides. RMU now on the left side of your screen in the blue, facing off against Chicago in the red.
Yeah, we're going to just have to see how Chicago answers back. There's a lot they have to answer from that first game. They let bot lane get way out of control and did not shut down any of the lanes to try to counter that one. So RMU just started snowballing their way in victory pretty easily. Did not get to that 5th dragon because they didn't even need it. They got the Baron rolled into the base, and Gillette just went all over them, along with, of course, Nubsy's Event Horizon. Evelyn banned, Gangplank banned as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Vygar ban this game.
I don't know if you're going to let that graze through, though. To be fair, the first blood was a little bit abnormal, let's say that. So you can't really expect that to happen every game. So maybe that's what really started the snowball rolling. But the big pick to ban this game is Thresh. You absolutely cannot let Synatic have that champion again. I don't care what 80 carry. You could be playing 80 carry, like, ability power Fiora, which, to be fair, I have lost an all-for-one match versus before, but just saying, you put Synotic on that Thresh, you're gonna have a bad time. So expecting to see maybe a ban that way, maybe another support ban to keep him off of a different champion, but still very impressed with that bottom lane. Carried ridiculously hard, so we're gonna have to see if there's any focus put on them from Chicago after their dominant performance in game 1.
Tom Kench banned again, so this is the same bans. These are the same bans, rather, from RMU. Gangplank Elise were banned out last game as well. I mean, they have a lot they really need to answer back with, and they're not really setting themselves up in the pick and ban phases for this one, it seems like. Gangplank Elise banned. We'll see what they want to ban for their last champion. Vygar, there it is. Yeah, the Event Horizon offers so much to just in-game in general. And I feel like the Event Horizon really made a huge difference in that game. I mean, of course, Synotic with the hooks, but man, I mean, toward that mid game, I mean, you saw it. He could just throw the Event Horizon around a turret, and they could take it.
I did see it. It was pretty ridiculous. I was watching that. I saw it with my own eyeballs, and probably with a few other people's eyeballs too. So I do want to, at least for me, focus on that support pick. But just like last game, it's the first pick Rek'Sai. So kind of confusing to see champions not prioritized that I would think. Big one for me is Lulu. Like Lulu Jinx or Lulu plus, hyper carries, or Lulu plus Juggernaut specifically. Lulu with Rengar is another big combo. You run like an aggressive jungle and then give Lulu the ability to allow it to just jump into the middle of the enemy team and CC everyone. So some questions there on the picks, but going with your comfort. Got to take that Rek'Sai away from Chicago. And that means that we're going over to now Chicago for their picks this game. It's going to be Morgana hovered over, but I can't imagine they're going to give Graves away that easily.
No, I don't think they would either. And we do want to point out that is Rek'Sai on freaking Pope instead of Gragas this time around. So Nevix, he will be on a different jungler. Mark Kirk going to be locking in the Morgana. Hecarim being picked up. We'll see if that's a Hecarim not mid lane. It's not grabbing here.
I was going to say, it used to be a thing.
Yeah. But we will see if that's going to be a Hecarim top lane or a jungle. He does have some pretty solid ganks, ganking potential. Does get a little bit run over by Rek'Sai, I believe, in the jungler. Actually, where would you rather see him go? Considering, I mean, he is a flex pick technically. Of course, so is Morgana. Where would you rather see the Hecarim go at this point?
For right now, probably top lane. I don't think there's a better place for Hecarim right now. It does counter a lot of very strong matchups. Good counter to things like Riven, things like Fiora. Both champions, by the way, that are left up. And to not see a team pick Fiora in a game like this is just baffling to me. You have so many incredibly strong champions left open. No top laner is banned besides Gangplank. So it blows my mind. Oh, I guess Tom Kench could go top lane too, but it just blows my mind to not see either one of those picks prioritized.
Yeah, that's a good point. Darius, he's not picked either. Of course, Mordekaiser got a little bit of a nerf to his experience gain, but he could still do some destruction in that bot lane, especially with the dragon in his presence, which I think they altered the dragon a little bit too. But Gillette going to be locking in the Diana, so that's more likely going to be a Diana mid, I would assume. But Synotic going back on the Thresh, And that's what we want to see, because those flays, those hooks, they were way too entertaining not to want to watch again. We're going to see how they interact with Mark Kirk, who I think they're kind of predicting that he would pick up the Thresh again. Want to go with the Black Shield to try to, negate some of that play potential that Synock was setting up last game. But Terratron, Black Star 777, we're going to see what they pick up. Tristana being hovered over. And, of course, Black Shield. If you Black Shield him before he jumps, it would be better, than getting flayed out of the air.
Yeah, what happened to Mordekaiser, too? I was thinking about this. The pick and ban phase is kind of all over the place for me. They're just going with what I guess comps that they've practiced or comfort picks. But that's kind of a downside to practicing comps that, you're just like, hey, we want these champions, because you're going to assume that certain champions are banned. But when those champions are banned, maybe you don't go with them because you still want to stick to your comp. I don't know if I agree with that. But the Kassadin getting locked in here, it begs a Ryze to be picked into it. Ryze, so good against Kassadin. Maybe not early on, but later on, there's just nothing that Kassadin can do to him. We saw that at Worlds. It doesn't really matter whether or not you're Faker. It's just a champion matchup. So thinking about the Jace, though. It's been a cool minute since I've seen Jace on Summoner's Rift.
And that's going to be a hot minute now, because it is going to be locked in. I don't know if that made sense, by the way, that reference, but it doesn't matter. Jace is locked in. And, I haven't seen Jace in a long time either. Going to have... Gonna be interesting seeing him. And with the Diana locked in, honestly, both these could go mid or top. I would assume the Jace would be top, though. Diana top, a little lackluster, but we'll see where they go. Hey, it's me, Lamo, XD, gonna be locking in the Caitlyn for Gillette. And, of course, I wouldn't mind seeing Gillette on Jace just to see what he can do. But we're not going to be able to see that. Last pick coming up for Chicago. What do you think fits into their team comp right now? They got a kind of a weird one here.
Okay, well, first of all, we should hype up the Caitlyn pick, just because it limits a lot of pressure from the bottom lane, but it does mean that things like Malphite are super ridiculously effective. While Caitlyn does have a small repositioner with her 90 caliber net, what she does not have is an attack speed steroid like a lot of other AD carries do. So you're not gonna see anything happen from Caitlyn if she gets Malphite ulted. Either she avoids that, but either way, the ground slam just destroys her as an AD carry. A lot of range, but it doesn't matter when you're having an unstoppable force pointed at your body. So if the Malphite is locked in, I definitely agree with that pick into Caitlyn. Also works well against Jace, who's going to want to kite away at long range, close that gap, not so strong anymore.
Yeah, so interesting team comp coming out from RMU with the Jace and the Diana pickup. And the Diana's not even jungle. We typically see her jungle with the Runeglaive these days, but we probably end up seeing her mid lane with a Lich Bane this time around. We'll see how that one works out. I do like the Diana into Kassadin. You get both of them get shields. It's kind of almost like a farm lane to level 6, and Diana can keep up with Kassadin as far as just targeting Kassadin. If Kassadin Rift walks out, Diana can keep up with a Rift walking Kassadin with the double Lunar Rush. But we do have your team comps. There's a Rek'Sai, Diana, Thresh, Caitlyn, and Jace over on the side of RMU. Chicago bringing the Morgana, Hecarim, Tristana, and the not Tristana. I already said Tristana. Malphite and Kassadin. Double teleports coming out, of course, and it's going to be an interesting one, Rapid.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our second picks and bans. We'll see whether or not Chicago can bring it back versus RMU, or if we're just going to go out with a 2-game series tonight. So don't go anywhere. When we come back, we've got a exciting game number 2 coming your way. Before we head out, I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors at Brain Gear, Twitch, and Alpha Draft for their continued support. Big thanks to them, and do want to thank you guys for tuning in. Stick around. We'll be right back with game number 2. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Collegiate Star League's 2015 League of Legends season. My name is Reed Rapid Melton. Joining me once again is my co-caster, Joshua Fekez Quest. How's it going?
Fantastic. Into this game number 2 between Chicago and RMU. We have a pause, though, already early on. Not even only like 4 items.
Building the hype, got the epic music and everything, and we're right into a pause. It's like if clouds were made out of lead and you're just like flying along, you're just like, all right, let me just pass right through this. Sorry, can't make it happen. Gotta wait here for a while. Luckily, though, we do have 29.5 minutes of pause time remaining, which means we can sit here and have a wonderful conversation. Everybody else watching can just join in. We've got plenty of time for everyone.
A lot of rapid Fekez time here. This is gonna be great.
Oh baby.
I do want to point out though, Gillette is actually on Diana. They didn't trade. Hey, it's me, Lamo XD on Caitlyn. So I don't know if this is going to be a role swap, which we do see a lot in collegiate games, or they're going to do something cheeky and change the world of Summoner's Rift and go Diana and Thresh bot lane.
No, see, that's this thing called doesn't exist. Like, maybe in some magical other world, if you want to make League of Legends 25, maybe in a few years you get that to happen. No. Okay, so what's gonna happen is we're gonna have a small lane change. What they're going to do is switch some of the power around from players who did well in game number 1 and players who did poorly. So that means that we're going to switch Gillette onto a Diana, who, by all intents and purposes, should be going into the top lane? Mid lane.
Nubsy is it was mid last game though.
Okay, tell me more about how you can predict where they're going after these role swaps. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like you said, Nubsy did play mid, so you would expect to see him go back to mid lane, but I don't know if that's necessarily how you want to put the Jace versus the Kassadin, because Kassadin doesn't, the passive doesn't work that way, so.
Yeah, and it actually is really easy for a Jace pre-level 6 to just go into hammer form and jump right onto a Kassadin and just knock him back and do that. And it's pretty much what you do in the top lane to any melee. Poke him down a little bit with your range, and then switch to hammer form, jump on him, go to the skies, knock him back with the hammer, and just walk away. Just repeat that for a couple times until you can kill him. Remember when Jace was first released, I absolutely hated that champion. But then I learned to play Irelia, and I was all right. And that was the only reason why I learned to play Irelia, was because Jace was a new champion. He was so powerful. Remember those days?
I do. Spectacular.
No.
Spectacular. Some of my favorite memories. Just kidding. Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Not remotely. All right, so it does appear as if we should be getting back into here in just a second, and there you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're good. Finally loading out onto the Rift for our second game of this best of 3.
Yeah, so we're going to see what happens. Wee Baby Seamus going with the Crystalline Flask. Not too surprising here. We're going to see if, and we hope it doesn't happen again for Chicago's sake, if Mark Kirk face checks a bush. There's one thing. RMU, they're gunning for it. They're gunning on that bot side. They saw the mistake last game. They're going to try to catch one out again.
Now, theoretically, tri-brushes are objects on your side of the map that you can get to faster, just objectively, before the enemy team. Now, as sneaky as Chicago are trying to be here, they're going to walk over some wards on their way in. So they probably know that they've been at least on one ward by now because they walked into the lower entrance of the jungle. But they do not know where the enemy team is located.
30 seconds until
No, and looks like they're gonna keep diving this or going into this one. A lot of wards being placed by RMU. Gonna gather that information, and it looks like Chicago, they're gonna answer back with this one. Take off freaking Pope's blue buff.
Yeah, this is the same thing that we saw in game number 1. They started out on one side of the map and counter jungled for their duo jungle, and then tried to turn it around from there. However, this time it's being turned back around on them. It's RMU being the ones getting counter jungled, and gotta give it to Chicago for trying to maybe turn that strat back around on itself, with Blackstar looking for that double jungle with Nevex.
Yeah, so this is very nicely answered back then. They're not giving up first blood this time. Not going to get a snowball going for RMU. And yeah, it looks like freaking Pope. He's going to be one buff short coming into this game. Let's see what he does with that one. You got to wonder if he knows it's happening. No, they're not on the enemy's blue side, so you have to wonder if if he knows his blue is being taken.
Yeah, how do you not prepare against your own strategy?
Right.
It's really strong, but it only works if the enemy doesn't spread out for their level 1. You have to make sure that your opponents group up, and when Chicago saw everyone down there on that one ward, they said, hey, look, there's no wards on the top half of the map, let's just walk in, start that counter jungle. They're actually going to go for a hard counter jungle too, which means that you take every single camp on that side of the map, which does make you a little bit slower, but it does mean that you do have the ability to have more time stealing things from the enemy. And with a smite there on the wolf camp, that does mean they'll be seeing Frank and Pope as he comes up to the top side of the map.
Yeah, and on the bot side, we actually saw a little bit of damage going on to Terratron, answered back on to hey, it's me, Lamo. I have to wonder, so what does this do? I've always been curious about this. So what does this do for your synergy whenever you switch bot lanes, but you keep your support? Like, you have to adapt to someone else's playstyle now, right?
I would definitely say so. The biggest thing for me is to see how well Gillette does adapting to the playstyle of a totally different place. Now, keep in mind, if you guys are new to seeing RMU, now this is the secondary roster for RMU. Their primary roster is playing in the Challenger Tournament HCC Ascension. And one of the players on that primary roster is Gillette. So we're getting a chance to see how diverse he is this game. Role swapping to play one of the champions that is actually a champion he's very good with, is Diana, because he's naturally a mid laner. Yeah. So it makes sense to be seeing him play that, albeit in a very different lane.
Oh, Cyanotic with a nice hook onto Mark Kirk. Gonna be eating up that Caitlyn trap, that Yordle snap trap. And fitting because he's going against a Yordle, but...
Well, technically...
Oh, tell me about it.
Technically,
I love these.
Tristana is a Megling. Her title for the longest time was the Megling Gunner.
Yeah.
However,
what is it
Meglings no longer exist, Fekez. Not because of some terrible runic genocide, but because Riot decided that they didn't exist.
That is a runic genocide.
Well, I guess so. All of a sudden, her kind were just systematically walked out under the turret.
Damaged by Nubsies. And wee baby Seamus took too many of those auto attacks. Very nicely played by Nubsies.
Man, I'm here talking about lore, and Nubsy doesn't even care. Super disrespectful, but to be fair, that hypercharge really, really well placed, well landed, well everything else, and a good way to pick up first blood in a lane that he was actually a little bit rough on starting out with game 1.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of aggression in the bot lane, but not gonna equate to too much. So yeah, very nicely played, nice use, like you said, of the Jace abilities. Be going back. He doesn't have teleport, so he's going to be running back. But you can actually run back pretty fast as a Jace. You have the accelerated gate and get that movement speed every time you change forms. A lot of damage going to the top lane. This is Diana into Malphite. That's a nice mashup for Diana.
Yeah, look at that, able to curve that crescent blade or crescent sweep through the minions, clear them out, put that minion aggro damage down onto Malphite just to make sure that he keeps taking damage so his shield doesn't come back up. Now, nice death sentence landed once again on Terratron, but Halem How XD needs to stay safe.
Yeah, the Thresh Lantern doing very well to save him, or at least save his health bar from those explosive shots. We actually have a horse coming down on all fours into the bot lane. Gonna catch out hey, it's me, LMAO, pretty hard here. Flash into the turret. Is he gonna be able to stay alive? Yeah, he does.
Oh, the flay!
Nice flay by Cyanotic onto Nevex. He's gonna go down. Cyanotic picking up that kill. Very nicely played.
Nicely flayed even. Very, very well done. I don't know, man. This Cyanotic kid, he's seeing the future as something. If you guys are playing, I think it was Pokemon Crystal, Future Sight in that game sucked, but in League of Legends, it's actually super good. Oh, and man, going into top lane.
Double Lunar Rush, gonna pick up the kill on the Black Star. Caught completely off guard after the Lunar Strike hit.
And I'm guessing Black Star, his strategy was, hey, I'm going to pick up this level 2, go back to base, and you see he bought a cloth armor, because he was expecting to go against Graves, expecting like a super lane swap, because Gillette's traditionally a mid laner. But swapping the Diana to the top lane, kind of the worst situation there for Chicago, because not only do they have a losing matchup mid lane with Jace against Kassadin, very strong early on. But you also have a losing matchup top lane now because Malphite went for armor versus a magic damage lineup. And he's even
excuse me, one moment. Nevex is going to be ganking that mid lane. Nubsy going to try to go for the kill, but he uses hammer onto Nevex and knock him back. Not able to get that kill.
Yeah, not even able to complete the animation there. Great gank coming in. Second time's a charm, I guess, for Nevex, as he tried bottom lane, but first you don't succeed. Try again. I suppose that's how it goes. But
it worked out, so yeah, definitely a valid saying. Freaking Pope not getting into that CS, and I feel like that should be important. You want every bit of CS gold you can as a jungler, because you're hurting. You're going to be low on CS because you're a jungler, so get that gold, especially if you're not having too much effect on these lanes so far.
Oh man. Well,
I think I said Nevex. I thought I was like freaking Pope. I don't remember.
Okay. Well, making sure that we all know who you're talking about. Nevex, though, in the jungle has been doing decently well. He's been able to pick up more gold, more kill participation than his opposing jungler. So good to see that freaking Pope maybe needing to step it up just a little bit. Binding, though, lands onto Psynotic. I don't think he's too worried about that.
That's the only thing that's there. No one's coming down to meet him, though. Blackstar 777, he's actually roamed from the top lane. They've switched lanes, actually. Maybe Seamus, he's in the top lane now. See how they deal with this one. Yeah, now that cloth armor built into the Glacial Shroud going to come in handy in that mid lane.
Right, I was a little bit confused as to why Malphite would continue to build an item that didn't help him at all versus the matchup, but it does help him versus Jace, which is why you're going to see that. And like you saw right there, perfect, I want to say Lunar Rush, but it's Lunar Rush in and a Rift Walk out. Wee baby Seamus way more well-equipped to handle that lane.
Oh, now Nubsy, though, he's going to go in onto Blackstar, get quite a bit of damage, but Unstoppable Force coming in along with Onslaught of Shadows. What a combo coming out. Nubsy going to fall, Teleport coming in, not going to cancel it, and actually misses Lunar Strike, so no Lunar Rush to follow up. And Gillette, he's down a Teleport, just going to go back to top lane now, looks
There's
like.
a Crescent Sweep, if I am not mistaken. And I am not. Crescent Strike. Partially mistaken.
Oh, there you go.
We're each half right, but now going back in again here. Gillette wants to make this happen. Looking for another auto attack and gets the second one.
Lunar Rush back under the turret. Is he going to go down to it? He does.
Oh my gosh, he's still alive!
But Nevex is there. His charge is actually down. He's trying to get out so quickly here, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Freaking Pope, he's there. He's going to knock him up. Gillette.
Are you serious?
Are you serious is right. He doesn't even have Lunar Rush. Now he does. He can go back in. He's going to get a kill. He's actually going to walk out. Oh my god.
Wait for the Black Shield. No, he didn't wait for the Black Shield to dissipate, but still probably wouldn't have killed him. Either way, the great escape. Gillette kid. Like I said, clocking in for a 10-hour shift. He knows he's going to be in for the long haul, and he's making it look good. 2-0 on the day, swapping lanes, swapping all kinds of things. To be fair, look at Gillette. He's a natural mid laner. He's played so many different roles right now. Bottom lane, top lane. Now he's back to being in the mid lane off that role swap. Just incredibly versatile.
Yeah, you don't need lanes, a lane meta whenever you just roam all over the place. So very nicely played so far by RMU. And yeah, Nubsy back in that top lane, going against the wee baby Seamus on the Kassadin, where he was stronger during that mid lane skirmish. Mark Kirk, he's going to land himself onto a Yordle snap trap. Get a little bit of damage put onto him. Descent just barely missing. My goodness.
Man, Psynotic is like. Oh man, Flash Binding again onto Halimau.
Flash Binding, yeah, he's gonna go down. There's a Buster Shot and the Explosive Shot coming out. Gonna be able to pick him up. Psynotic with the box. And Gillette misses his Crescent Strike. Lunar Rush not gonna be able to followed up by another one, but Blackstar using the Unstoppable Force. He's gonna have to make his way out of there. Terratron, he's still gonna go down. Freaking Pope picking up that kill. And it's returned. ADC for ADC in the bot lane.
Wow, nice trade there. Actually, a little bit more even than I would have expected. RMU coming out maybe a little bit on top, but man, you got to watch out for Hey, It's Me, Lamau XD. This kid is not dodging bindings, and I don't care how fed you get as AD carry. If you don't dodge a binding, you can have a million items, and you're still going to die instantly.
Yeah, that's the benefit of bringing the Morgana. You just hit that truck of a dark binding, you get locked down for a couple seconds, and that's just enough time to be blown up. So. Very nicely played by Mark Kirk, but very nicely played by Nubsy. He's landed 2 of these accelerated hyper shots onto wee baby Seamus. Chunked him down quite a bit, and there's no teleport on him. He's going to go back.
Yeah, I think there's Hypercharge and Shock Blast.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I kind of combined.
Like, I wish I could combine skills into two. That seemed to be pretty good. It's like Wonder Twin powers, but with League of Legends skills.
It'll be a champion one day.
I'm sure it will. Our new mechanic is that champions can use multiple spells at the same time. To be fair, Alistar can do that too.
Oh, yeah, actually you
It's
can.
existed from the beginning, but let's take a look at what's about to happen here. Got a gank coming in from Nevix. We were talking earlier about how we wanted to see this guy in the top lane, but he's actually in the jungle. Now Nubsy, oh man, just barely able to get out in time. And now we get to see whether or not Dragon is going to be what's pressured. Answer, of course, is yes.
Ooh.
That means that as Wee Baby Seamus top lane takes a Shock Blast, he's doing his job right now. He's holding the Jace top lane, but we'll see whether or not this Dragon is contested at all. Answer, of course, is no, and a nice smite there from freaking Pope. We'll grab that one for RMU.
Yeah, it's a clean Dragon going over to RMU, and they are continuing their streak of keeping the Dragons away from Chicago, so gonna be trying to play for that late game as it's not going as snowbally, and yeah, you can't. You have to dodge those. Hey, it's me, Lamo XD. Gonna be chunked down once again. So either he can't dodge him or Mark Kirk is on point this game.
To be fair, yeah, that was a really well played Dark Binding. Went right close to a minion, but still hit onto the AD carry. Gotta be careful with that. Caitlyn does have a repositioner, but whoa, ace in the hole.
Oh, that chunked him out pretty hard, so not so bad of a play onto Terratron. He's gonna have to be a lot more cautious. Doesn't have a heal up either. Have to be careful now. Of course, hey, it's me, Limo does have both of his summoners. See how I can take advantage of that one, but
Nobody's trying to jump over the wall into the skies, but it's a little bit too far for that.
Oh my goodness. So laning phase a little bit more extended than it seemed like last game, where Gillette just kind of running all over mid and bot lane, but in top lane, disengaged from the Rift Walk. But we'll get back to that in a second. Gillette gonna be pulling in Blackstar. There's a knockup from freaking Pope. Onslaught of Shadows and Unstoppable Force Wildbow combo. Gillette, Luna rushing out, but Nevex is gonna chase up to him. Ghost pop for that one. And the kill going over to him as well. Freaking Pope may go down as well. Nevix tanking this turret for him. Double kill going over to Nevix. Nicely played by Chicago.
Again, just knowing that he had the health and the damage to dive there, extremely well played, turning that aggression around. Gillette had a nice combo with freaking Poke coming in for the assist, but counter ganks, man, so effective as Nevix just ran in there. Used Ghost very, very well, but now trying to turn the top lane matchup around the 1v1!
Oh, the Q right as you go to the skies. Very nicely played by Wee Baby Seamus. Chicago, they're coming back into this one.
Very, very well. Now, bottom lane will give RMU a little bit of a gold boost as they come down to bottom lane. And with a dodge on the Dark Binding and a Death Sentence landed, seeing a changing trend for them that is anything but worrying.
Yeah, very much so. And yeah, Chicago, they need to start getting some vision support around this dragon. Start taking these dragons away from RMU. They've been doing very well.
Oh my gosh! How did Synata get that Death Sentence through the minion? Okay,
yeah,
all right.
He missed it, but that's not even the impressive part that he just got it through. Yeah, that's insane. My goodness.
He's still going back in. He's got a flay. He's got a shield. The box flashed away from Dark Binding, though, is out there, but and Cynotic doing the utmost.
Yeah, Gillette able to pick up this mid lane turret. So turret advantage does go over to RMU right now. They have 3 turrets to 1. And like I said, has the first dragon of the game as well. So they're keeping their gold advantage in their favor. Where do you go from here, though? It's approaching, getting past the 15-minute mark. You're going to start wanting to roam as all lanes. What do you focus on right now, Rapid?
Probably just stabilizing a little bit. You've got to get that, I guess you don't really have to work on Malphite too much. He can just be an ult bot, high cooldown reduction from that Frozen Heart, so he's going to have a lot of ultimates, which is exactly what you want. He already has it back up again, so you can go for these team fights, but you do need to maybe start to team fight. That's where you get a lot of advantages. You can see that top lane is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, speaking of team fight, for sure, Nubsy, he's going to be caught out with a ward out, but you're going against 2 of the most mobile champions, one with 4 feet, one that just kind of floats around on Cassidy and Hecarim. Got a ward a little bit deeper than that one, so Nubsy, he's going to go down for the 4th time in this game. Not having a good lane either this time.
Yeah, see, that's why you ban Elise, because she has 8 feet. 10 if you want to count the human feet too, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
Who counts human feet anymore? Jeez. Although, to be fair, Cassidy doesn't actually have any... Well, I guess theoretically he does have feet, but he doesn't use them.
Yeah, that's the pre-void skin. Yeah, I think he technically does. Yeah,
does he? Does he really?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, again, you don't really need to use it. Probably atrophy.
Let me check this out. No, I'm pretty sure he just floats over the ground.
Yeah, no, he floats. He floats. I'm just saying the splash art. But again, they're probably atrophied because he
Teleport coming down there. Malphite headed down to the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Let's see, he's actually a little bit far away, but should be able to ult over this wall.
Gillette trying to get onto Terratron and gets the kill. And now Blackstar by himself, but actually, no, he's not. Company coming away. Wee Baby Seamus picking up that kill. Going on a killing spree. Cynotic now. Can't get out of this one, I don't think. He's going to go down. Wee Baby Seamus getting a second kill for himself. But Gillette looking for a second kill also does get the shutdown onto Nevix. So 2 kills for 2. Let's see who's caught out here. Oh, in the meantime, Nubsy pushing that top lane.
I was going to say, it does give Gillette a little bit of an out, but I don't think he's out of it just yet. Oh, he's hiding. He's waiting for Mark Kirk to come around the wall. Look at that burst, the damage coming in.
Oh, and it's going to be Mark Kirk going down. Freaking Pope picking up that kill with a nice burst assist from Nubsy. So Nubsy not having too much luck in the laning phase, but still very powerful with his accelerated shock blasts.
Is this going to end yet? I mean, Terratron is top lane, finally able to clear that out. So finally the push is over, and it's a successful escape for Gillette, who's going back to base to buy a Nashor's Tooth. But okay, I was waiting for the needlessly large rod. I was like, it's got some gold stuck in there somewhere. Yeah. Probably going to be looking for either a Zonya's Hourglass or Luden's Echo. My money's on the Zonya's, but if it wants to go aggressive, that option is always there.
So Blackstar is flash used in the bot lane to get away from Cynotic's hook, and I think he would have been able to survive that. I don't think he needed to use Flash. Giving some respect over to, hey, it's me, Lamo. The Frozen Heart on Blackstar, I don't think he had too much to worry about, though, Rapid.
Well, that's true. Maybe not worry. Worry would be a strong word there, but either way, it's still a good opportunity for both teams to sort of take a little bit of a break and regroup here around the Dragons. So, they take a break. Now they're not taking a break anymore. Nevix is pretty... confident in himself right there. Cynotic's going to take a bunch of damage from Dragon.
Yeah, the Dragon does not like him at all. Closest target, you know, Dragon doesn't discriminate, just spit fire on whatever is closest to him. So this may be Chicago's first Dragon of the game, but Wee Baby Seamus is not there, but it doesn't take long for a Cassidy to get to where he needs to across the rift. It started up right now. Actually, that was It's Me Lamo trying to get some aggression on onto Chicago through the Dragon. What is going to happen here? Blackstar. Oh, go on.
Big shock blast to land there on a Mark Kirk. He's down to about, I don't know, 4/5 HP if you want to go for that fraction. But Dragon's still up. As far as wards go, it's actually decently warded by both teams. Maybe a little bit more heavily by Chicago, although clearing that out one ward at a time. And that ward is actually in the bush, even though it looked for a second like it wasn't. But...
Alright, looks like Dragon. It's finally going to be started, but this is Chicago coming back in. And then RMU is so afraid of the Wombo combo right now. Wee Baby Seamus going to try to keep...
Teleport's coming in.
First Dragon of the series does go over to Chicago, though. Wee Baby Seamus going unstoppable, but Nubsy is in the mix, trying to enter back. Able to take down Nevix. Terratron gonna go down. Luda Rush picking up the kill for him, but 1v1 duel going over to Wee Baby Seamus against Nubsy in the mid lane. Overall 2 for 2. Let's see what RMU can do off of this.
Probably not very much. The carries are very, very low. Hey, It's Me and Gillette both pretty low there. Clash out though by Mark Kirk. Gillette wants to get into range, but is out of mana.
Yeah, you have to... You said RMU wouldn't be able to pick up anything, but if Mark Kirk kind of gets something, they're going to take it. So, Flash down for the Morgana. Not going to be seeing any of those Flash Soul Shackles that we see sometimes. And RMU is just going to go back. It's kind of a stalemate right now. Chicago doing a good job keeping this one alive. A lot better than they did last game. They're down in turrets, which is translating only 700 down in gold. Isn't too bad. They just picked up their first Dragon. And it's kind of like... You have to wonder, again, where do you go from here if you're Chicago? They're on the back foot, technically, due to the gold and the map pressure.
Yeah, map pressure probably the biggest thing. The carries that you're going to want to see scaling. Gillette obviously extremely strong, but the big difference between game 1 and 2 is the AD carry role. Hey, it's me, Lamau, just not stepping up as Caitlyn, walking into Dark Bindings, not CSing as well as his counterpart, but still with a CS advantage in lane, so that's going to make up for being 0-2.
Yeah, and this actually shows a lot for Gillette because he's 5-1 and 2. He's not just good at ADC, guys. He's a good player. And we're seeing shades of that in this game pretty heavily. Has a Nash's Tooth, has a Zanya, so he can engage if he wants to, and just Zanya's all the damage. Let's see what he builds next. Nubsy, he needs to be careful against a 6-1-1 Kassadin. I don't think he can take him on right now. Looks like he can't. Chicago, they're trying to find something here, but so is Cyanotic, and I don't think that's what you want. Now he's just gonna get hit on.
Oh man, backline though, Nevix. Starting to get jumped on.
Yeah, Gillette trying to flank as best as he can. They don't want to use all their ults on just one champion onto RMU. So they're really playing it patient. Nice escape from RMU. They are all 5 now, 5v5. This is going to be exciting when it happens.
Rocket jump away from Terratron. He's going to blow his escape earlier, and that's going to be a pretty big commitment to say, look, we're not going for it. This is the little minion that could right here. He's scouting everything out. And winds up just giving some more move speed to Blackstar, but a big disengage here by Chicago.
Yeah, both teams doing a good job just dancing around what their weaknesses are, playing to their strengths.
Playing to the shrinks. That's what I learned works today. Jump over the wall, though.
He gets caught, but a big ultimate unstoppable force coming out from Blackstar. Is it going to be enough? Double kill from Hey, it's me, Lamo. Full health, not being touched right now. There's a nice Zanya's coming out from Wee Baby Seamus. Allows him to pick up the kill onto freaking Pope. Are they going to go back in? Actually, it looks like Gillette trying to do as much as he can. Does get the kill with those Crescent Strike. Very nicely
He's
played.
in the hole. Not enough.
Enough, but that is little tiny shock blast, more like a shock peck. Gonna be able to get the ace for RMU. Man,
It's like a little bit of a shock there. Although the biggest shock to me is to see RMU so versatile, able to like maybe have weaknesses in some areas, then come back in other areas. And with that turret takedown, they're actually at 40,000 gold exactly. Until that Gromp died. So a solid 4K ahead of their opponents, and oh man, now we got Hecarim trying to come in and make sure somebody dies. Can't get in range in time.
That's so sad, Rapid.
So sad. And that is why Ghost is not the summoner spell you're looking for. Although on Hecarim, of course, it does make it better to traverse the map, just not quite good enough.
Yeah, Ghost definitely makes sense. You're not gonna get any of those, you know, flashy Onslaught Shadow plays, but I don't really think you need to have Flash to do that one. But yeah, it looked like Chicago hit everything they wanted to, but just could not get pinned down the targets that they needed. And Gillette doing a great job zoning in the backlines and still stayed alive, which was amazing. He was almost dead. Still only 1 death in this entire game.
Wow, yeah, this game actually a little bit ridiculous, especially for Gillette. I like to see the defensive itemization, not going for a death cap, not going for Luden's Echo, going for tankiness in the form of an almost completed Abyssal Scepter and that Zanya's Hourglass. So really, really going to do well as more frontline Diana than maybe you're used to seeing, although I guess all Dianas are frontline to some extent.
Yeah, in the end, they definitely are. So we have a split push here. Nevix, as the jungler with no teleport, split pushing the bot lane of RMU, and it doesn't look like RMU was able to take advantage of that one. Now Nubsy, they're trying to split push the top. He's trying to split push the top lane. Didn't get enough on that turret. Actually, didn't take that much at all. I'm surprised we didn't see them just group as 5 and try to engage into the mid lane there. It looks like
Trying to get a feel of exactly where they want to engage. I haven't seen it just yet, but mid does look like a good option.
Yeah, it looks like so far it'd be ideal option, especially if it's 4v5, but now Gillette, he does have teleport up, he's actually split pushing, but he's split pushing against a turret that's not there. He can split push all the way up to the inhibitor turret. Nice hook onto Mark Kirk. Is it going to result into a death? It's actually not, but here comes the teleport. There's an unstoppable force onto Hey It's Me Lamo. Onslaught Shadows is not able to pick him off, and nice Zeke's Herald pickup, going to be able to get the crits needed to pick up that kill. But Gillette finally goes down, and actually there's a double kill, rift walking back into the face of Hey It's Me Lamo. And this is going to be Chicago destroying RMU. Triple kill for Wee Baby Seamus.
Wow. Yeah, impressive. Somewhat of an understatement there. Wee Baby Seamus clocking in 10 and 2. I mean, this is somewhat a little bit of deja vu from game number 1. Not the AD carry role, but this time it's the mid lane as Wee Baby Seamus just incredibly fed now. And oh, Blackstar versus Nubsy.
Nubsy was over Ward that entire time.
Okay, yeah, Blackstar better safe than sorry.
Yeah, that's yeah, definitely for sure. He's doesn't want to die at this point in the game, especially when they just got that sort of nice team fight they wanted. They stagger the deaths like this. They stagger their main engagement. That would be pretty bad for them. But Dragon is up. Freaking Pope using his Void Rush to go over and try to make sure it's not taken. Baby Seamus taking out the blue buff, and this is going to be great for him. Rift Walk in and out as fast as possible. Have the mana. Stay up with it a little bit more than normal, as the mana does stack up pretty quickly if you're Rift Walking back and forth. Dragon. Both teams looking to test it here, trying to get vision dominance. Oh, man. Oh, nice shock blast on the Nepix.
Okay, I just trying to get an eye out for who's willing to go for the engage. You can see Caitlyn just a mile away from the team fight. Doesn't want to be anywhere near this Malphite.
No.
It's been making her life miserable. Although, to be fair, Caitlyn has come back from being 0-2 to now 3-3, so much better score, picking up some kills there.
Yeah, no, been placing herself mostly well in these team fights, if I can say mostly well. I don't even know if that's proper. If you want to correct me, go for it, but been placing himself very properly in these team fights and been netting themselves some kills. Nice dragon pickup from RMU. Blackstar, he's there by himself. He has Unstoppable Force, goes in to use it, but he's actually gonna make it out. Terratron gonna go down. Gillette rushing in. Wee Baby Seamus there by himself now. He's gonna Rift Walk out, but you cannot Rift Walk an ace in the hole. And that's what we were talking about, nice positioning from Hey, It's Me, Lamo. And Chicago now on the back foot. Gillette, all he needs to do is land a Crescent Strike, gets it, gonna be able to pick himself up at least a Rockman in the top lane. Blackstar going down. That might be Baron for RMU.
I mean, that's the price you pay when you overextend maybe just a little bit. Now, to be fair, there is still huge minion waves top lane and bottom lane. Top lane wave might actually even be able to take that turret. So you can see Nubsy wants to go up and stop that from happening. But at the same time, Baron Nashor taken down at the 29-minute mark. We'll go over to RMU.
Yeah, and so they're slowly getting out of control with this game, getting that lead ever so slightly. It was only 700 gold up for them. It just seemed like about 6 minutes ago, maybe 10, but it's jumped all the way to 5K. Turrets are not going to go down. They're actually going to be shoved back now with these empowered super minions. Actually, they're not super minions. They're just regular minions, but they are empowered, so they're definitely not regular. Let me just contradict what I say a couple more times here.
Oh, gosh.
I'll let you take it. Where do you go from here for Chicago? Best to defend, but they can be tower dove, and they have a wombo combo that they can't take advantage of now.
Well, the defending is actually pretty good for them, because all they have to do is group up at a turret, wait for RMU to push in, and then counter-engage on them with the Malphite flank. So you do have to have deep wards for that to happen. They do have a couple of deep wards. They've got one right here, and then one right up above the Raptor camp, so some deep ward possibilities. Now they also have to have teleport available. It's not up quite yet. It'll be up in 50 seconds for Blackstar, so we'll see if that is the timing that they look for when Blackstar's teleport is up.
Yeah, and they are doing a good job shoving out these waves. This is one thing about Chicago. Who do they have for a wave clear, Rapid? Not really many.
I mean, they've got Tristana, so
yeah.
Tristana does kill it pretty quickly. Hecarim does too if he can get up into the wave. Same thing for Malphite with no Sunfire Cape, actually, so he's not super great at clearing minions at all.
Yeah, that's interesting. He picked up the Thorn Mail.
Oh, Gillette!
He's going to try to pick off somebody here, but he's by himself. What are you doing? Ace in the hole does come out from afar, and the Zanias is going to allow his team enough time to get where they need to be to help him out. Freaking Pope in the mix now. Hey, it's me, Lamo, picking off the enemy ADC. Terratron going down. Blackstar, he's going to go into the turret, but it's not going to save him. Gillette lunar rushing over into his face, killing him dead, as some people would say. Top inner turret going down. RMU taking control, taking advantage of this Baron.
Wow, yeah, Baron power play gold would be very, very high if we were able to see exactly what that stat was. I don't agree with pushing without minions, but might have overextended.
Nevic's gonna go down. Onslaught of the Shadows used defensively, but he died during the onslaught. You just saw the after image of his phantom death there as you saw the ghost go behind him. Inhibitor going down in the mid lane for RMU. Oh, the hook almost landing, but the Shock Blast does. Accelerated Shock Blast onto Wee Baby Seamus. So, Wee Baby Seamus is trying so hard to put this game in his backpack, but it's tough right now. Mid inhibitor is down.
One inhibitor down, maybe some more to follow. A little bit dangerous there by freaking Pope, but he does want to take out this pink ward, and he is going to go for it by himself. Not too afraid of what's coming his way.
Yeah, Terratron 1-7-3, having somewhat of a repeat performance as the last game, so not panning out too well. Only has 2 major items, 3 if you do count the boots. We had that discussion last game, but only the Static Shiv and the Infinity Edge build as far as offensive items that are complete right now for Terratron. So he is having a rough time in this game. You have to think, Wee Baby Seamus, wondering, what do I gotta do, guys? I don't know. Dragon will be up pretty soon, though. You have to think this is going to be RMU's Dragon. Pretty uncontested, I would assume.
Waiting for it. We're not quite there just yet, but it does say, you know, a little bit for, oh man, top lane, Black Star and Gillette. They're running against each other.
Oh my god, look at the burst. That is a Lich Bane on Gillette now. He has a flash out, but a Looter Rush going to catch up to him, and that's the advantage of holding that second Looter Rush. Nice bait.
Yeah, that's a little bit of damage right there. To be fair, Malphite is stacking armor, but now Gillette might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Gillette, I don't know about this one. He pops his on, he's going to
oh my
a little bit more. Yeah, so much damage though, but it's still going to go down. But so much attention attracted to the top lane. They left the bottom lane unattended.
And this base turret is going to fall uncontested. Whether or not the inhibitor falls is going to be up to Chicago, but if they pressure this in the wrong way, they could just lose the game.
Yeah, inhibitor going down, so that's mid lane and bot lane inhibitor going down. Hook landed onto Nevix. Do they want to go in onto this one? Hey, it's me, Lamo. He has Zeke's Herald, Harbinger rather. Crit after crit after crit, gonna be able to take him down. This might just be game for RMU. Turrets are falling fast.
Alright, well, it looks like freaking Pope might be delayed by a Dark Binding, but I don't think anything's going to stop Nubsy. Nah. Mark Kirk dead. The Death Sentence lands, and it's Hey Lamau XD there to take out Tristana.
Yeah, hey, it's me, Lamo. He's just going to focus the turrets like, hey, guys, this is probably more important right now. Baby Seamus, he's there. He's dead. Like he's not even there, so it doesn't matter. Second game of this best of 3, going to go over to RMU. Very well played, coming off the back foot. Not really the back foot, but going even in that mid game, or the early game, and coming out strong in the mid game.
Wow, coming out incredibly strong there. 29-19. Very, very bloodthirsty game. 48 kills. Who can say no to that? And in the end, a dominant 2-0 victory here for Robert Morris University. Congratulations to them for picking up their win tonight. And do want to give just a big thanks once again, not only to themselves, but also to, of course, our sponsors. You can see right there on your screen, Brain Gear, Twitch, and Alpha Draft, and Fekez. We have one final announcement before we close things out. You know what that is?
Tell me.
It's a CSL banner contest. What is it? It's a banner contest.
You're asking me? I have seen it on Twitter, but I don't think I'm allowed to actually enter. So, what is the banner contest?
All right, well, I've gone ahead and linked it in the chat. Basically, what it does is it helps you promote your school. So, what you're going to do is, if you're part of your CSL organization at your university, you come up with a design for your university's banner that will show on your team page on CSL. There's a great example of it in the article that I linked in chat. You go there, you make a banner, and you stand a chance to win 5 Razer headsets for your team at your school. So, big fans of your CSL team, then make them a banner, enter it into the contest, and, well, that's all you have to do to be eligible to win those 5 Razer headsets. So big thanks to Razer for the prizing there, and just so you know the dates, we're going to be closing this out by November 13th, so you got about a week to go about making those banners before, exactly a week actually, later on, and we'll be checking those out a little bit later on to announce those winners. We'll let you guys know who wins those, but head over to cstarleague.com/LOL, head over into the news section and look at what you have to do to win those Razer headsets.
Yes, and correct me if I'm wrong in this one, but I believe the NACCs are starting, yeah? pretty soon.
That is very true.
Yeah, so normally you would check us out Friday at the same time, same place, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but the NACCs will be taking place, so we're actually going to be on a break. Go check out cstarleague.com for the schedule lineup, or Rapid, actually, do you have the exact dates on that one?
Yeah, we'll be back on the 23rd of November, so going to take a little bit of a break, but we'll be back on the 23rd, so make sure to check us out then. And if you guys enjoyed tonight's matches, make sure to let us know. You can head over to cstarleague.com for more information, or hit us up on Twitter at cstarleague on Twitter, Facebook /Collegiate Star League. If you guys want to let us know what you thought about tonight's broadcast, or have any comments on anything you heard or heard said today. So thanks for watching. It's going to be a great day. It was a great day for Collegiate League of Legends. It's going to keep getting even better. So hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you next time.